all these figures that I've talked about, and all of the TV shows that I've seen, I still have yet to talk about one of my absolute favorites. And that would be Transformers Animated. And when I first saw it when it was on TV, I was about 11 years old, and I was like, oh, this isn't my Transformers. This isn't Armada. But you know what? After revisiting Animated all these years later, I can't believe how much of a moron I was that I skipped that show. It's incredible. It's got action, it's got story, it's got heart, it's got growth. Everything you want in an excellent TV show. And, like most Transformers shows before it, had some pretty neat toys. This is animated Soundwave, and he is something else. Now, in the TV show, Soundwave wasn't quite the military spy tactician that we remembered him to be. He actually started out as a children's toy, believe it or not. Yep, in case you've never seen it, sorry, the main human character in Animated has a father who likes to invent things, and he invented a toy for Sorry. Believe it was on Christmas time or her birthday, whichever one it was. I'm pretty sure it was Christmas. And he called it Soundwave. It was a small DJ robot that was able to respond and talk with its human companions. Unfortunately, Megatron got his hands on Soundwave first and was able to turn him into a Decepticon spy. Now, Soundwave in the show was pretty great. I mean, he wasn't like top tier villain like he normally is in these kind of shows, but, you know, he was up there. He had a few specific episodes that were built around him, and each episode kind of led to the next, because they each ended with a cliffhanger like, oh, Soundwave's still out there, what's gonna happen? But enough about the TV show, let's talk about the actual figure itself. I love the paint scheme on this guy. He's got that dark navy blue plastic color with like these light tealish kind of green highlights. Even some gold paint on his chest area to replicate his G1 cartoon chest piece. I gotta tell you though, paint scheme might be good, but his proportions are just very wonky. Now granted, Animated had a lot of wonky proportions, and this is how Soundwave looked in the show. Very gorilla-like, very long arms and short stubby legs and a broad torso. That's like my main complaint with this design. It's very gorilla-like, and it just looks very out of place amongst other toys that aren't animated. Which kind of sucks, because at the moment it's like one of my 3 animated toys, and it doesn't look good next to anything else. Also, something I'm not a fan of is these little flap hands. They're just very useless. They just kind of dangle there just to let you know that, hey, by the way, we didn't forget his hands. I mean, they help in some poses, like, oh, my Lanta. Oh, I can barely believe it. Oh, my Lanta. But the head sculpt is almost right on point in being Soundwave with the crests on top, the red visor. Instead of going for a silver mouth plate, though, they went for a gold, which I'm okay with. You know, this Soundwave really pulls off the gold paint. It's a little weird that the gold on his shoes doesn't quite match up with the chest or faceplate, but I can look past it. Now, Soundwave doesn't come with a lot of weapons, but he does come with this. Soundwave can hold this on his back, or on his forearm if you prefer, but it doesn't look very good, you know, just as a guitar sitting on his arm. You know, it's kind of hard for him to look like he's actually playing the guitar without any real hands. This ain't no ordinary guitar, son. It's Laserbeak! Now, of all the forms that Laserbeak's taken over the years, whether it be a cassette, a disc, a drone thing, this one's probably my favorite. Because what else would a music-based transformer, DJ type thing, uses sound waves? What would he use to generate those sound waves? A goddamn electric guitar that turns into the loveliest little bird that you've ever seen. He can even perch on Soundwave's arm, like Soundwave's giving him a little treat. Soundwave is quite flexible for this big, boxy gorilla former. His head's on a swivel, and it's also on a panel for transformation, but you can kind of make it look up, you know, as long as you don't push it back too far. Arms can't really go out that far. They can go in a little bit, but that's about all you're going to get in the shoulders. But they do rotate 360 degrees. You got a hinged elbow, but then you've also got a ball joint underneath it, which I guess kind of helps a little bit for posing. Works as a double elbow. It's got hand flaps, as I mentioned earlier. Ball jointed hips, ball jointed knees, which are a tad loose, I'll admit. And his feet can pull back for transformation to make it look like he's stepping forward, I guess. I don't know what you use those for. I don't know what you do in your spare time. What do you do in your spare time? Do you sit there fondling your sound waves? Do you sit there pondering life's questions as of why Perceptor turned into a microscope? in the frickin' IDW comics because it was never needed, but I don't know if he stayed a microscope. I think he just kind of turned it into a tank and made it look like a microscope. I don't know. Anyways, back to this. That's about it for Soundwave's robot mode. Let's go ahead and get him into his alternate DJ mode.
Laserbeak, commence operation. Yo, my home slice. Objective, blend in with terrible music creators.
Yep, instead of the boombox of old, this is a Soundwave that actually transforms into a vehicle and can actually get around on his own. I love this alternate mode. It's just so very, very Soundwave. All of the tech detail in that teal color carries over, but if you pay attention, on the side of the car, there's paint design there that looks very, very similar to a cassette tape, referencing his old good buddies Rumble and Frenzy. Gold carries over too. You've got a Decepticon logo right on the hood there, and on the roof of the car you've got a power button. Very fitting for Soundwave. As I mentioned earlier, Laserbeak's guitar mode can plug in on the side of the car if you'd like. I don't know why you would. Or you can do the normal thing and plug it onto this little gap on top of the roof. And now Soundwave can carry Laserbeak anywhere as he goes. Granted, it's not as clever as the perching on the arm, but it gets the job done, I guess. Now, there was a repaint of Soundwave into, say it with me now, Sound Blaster. That came with a guitar also, except this guitar was Ratbat, which is nice. You know, I've always liked Ratbat. I think he's an underused cassette. You know, I really like the idea of the cassette bots turning into, like, these instruments, because it's still the whole they need Soundwave to get around type of thing, and they're still partnered with Soundwave, because, you know, at this point, cassette tapes are kind of null and void. Like, I think Laserbeak could have been repainted into Buzzsaw, and you have a yellow and red electric guitar, and you could have had a drum set that turned into Ravage. Rumble and Frenzy could have been a piano, or like a key guitar. I don't know how that would work, but I think it would look cool. Just saying. So that's animated Soundwave for you. One of my only 3 animated toys that I absolutely adore. The proportions are wonky, I can get past it. The hands are kind of crap, I can get past it. Soundwave is definitely an animated toy you should pick up, and I absolutely love this toy to death. Comes with an awesome Laserbeak, comes with an awesome alt mode, awesome robot mode. Just pick one up if you see him. Do it. Do it for the children. So that's it for me, guys. Like, subscribe, do whatever it is you guys do, and I will see you all in the next video. And until then, bye-bye.